Hey everyone, it's Allie, and today I want to talk about the new PoE 1 event, Legacy of Phrecia. This event is going to be something that you do not want to miss out on, as it is going to be extremely fun. It's going to be, honestly, one of the most exciting things happening in PoE 1 in a very long time. I am so excited about this that I honestly wish this was just kind of added to the game as a whole, because for this event, we are going to be getting a complete refresh of every single ascendancy in the game, with them replacing every single one with ascendancies that they scrapped or thought of as thought experiments in the past that didn't really amount to anything. And well, all the new ascendancies are extremely exciting, extremely interesting. At the same time, they're also replacing the Endgame Atlas with a idol system that is going to give us substantially more juicing, and it's going to make endgame farming substantially more powerful than it ever was before. Not only giving you a hilarious amount of currency or loot of whatever you're looking to farm, but you're going to be able to do it with one of the super broken and fun ascendancies. If you've never played PoE 1 before, honestly, this event is probably a pretty good time to try it out, as the ascendancies are going to be so broken, they'll make it pretty easy for you to progress through PoE 1, even if you don't really know what you're doing. And if you're a longtime PoE 1 player, you really don't want to miss this event, because it's going to be some of the most fun you're going to have in PoE 1 in a very long time. If you're a Affliction enjoyer and you enjoyed all the juicing that happened in there and you like everything being super cheap and plentiful, oh, you're going to definitely like this event. Now, we don't know exactly when the event is going to come out. My guess is going to be the 21st of February. There's a very, very high likelihood, based off of GG's typical 2-week hype cycle that they like to do for whatever new content is coming out. And I feel like the 28th might be a little bit too far off, given they've given us quite a lot of teasers so far. But we're going to be given an official date here in a few days, so we won't have to guess, with me putting a 90% bet on it being specifically the 21st. This event is going to be a 1-month long event, but GG have said that if it's popular and if people enjoy it, they can and will extend it, as I'm pretty sure that this is meant to be a tie-in from the year drought of no content in PoE 1 up until at least patch 0.2 in PoE 2. Legacy of Phrecia is looking unbelievably fun and exciting, so let's get into it and talk about some of the things that they've showcased so far to get you as excited for it as I am myself. Now, as I mentioned, this event will be running in Settlers, meaning that if you liked your town, if you liked all the benefits from Settlers, if you like the currency exchange, recombinators, and everything else that it had to offer for you, well, you're going to get to have fun with it again, with the benefit of the town being fast-tracked, meaning you'll be able to get to a maxed out town substantially faster, so you don't have to go through the hassle on the many, many characters you're most likely going to want to make for this event. The special thing about this is going to be the new Ascendancies and the Endgame Atlas rework that we're going to get for it. I want to start talking about the Endgame Atlas, as I feel like this is going to be a very, very exciting and new take on endgame juicing in PoE 1. Instead of the Atlas that we all know and love, we are instead going to be getting a Sanctum-like setup where we're going to have a panel where we can put in idols that are going to be buffing our endgame maps. You're going to be able to have up to 32 slots in total, and these are going to be unlocked as you progress through endgame and unlock your favorite maps. So if you kill a Shaper, a Maven, an Elder Guardian, a Shaper Guardian, you'll slowly unlock the slots in this, so eventually you'll have up to 32 in total to play with. The idols that are going to be going inside these slots are going to either be magic or rare, and they're going to be completely unmodifiable, meaning the way it drops is all you get. Now, there's going to most likely be quite a few different types of these, just like how we have different relic types in Sanctum, i.e. we'll have 1x2s, 2x1s, 2x2s, and so on and so forth. And these are most likely going to have separate mod pools on them, meaning that you're most likely going to want to either focus on one specific idol type, or you're going to want to diversify and pick a few different types. All of the passive points from the Atlas have all been distilled onto these idols and made substantially more powerful than before. A great example of this is this Conquer idol here, which has a 53% chance to contain a Legion encounter on it. This most likely looks to be a 2x2 idol, and if you fit 4 of these into your device, that means you get a guaranteed chance for 2 extra legions to spawn in every map that you do. When you combine this with Legion Scarabs, Legion on the map device, and potentially some other Legion related nodes on some of these idols, you're going to be able to get some cracked Legion encounters that are going to be substantially juicier than whatever you were able to do before. All of these mods are meant to be hilariously broken and super overpowered, and they're just meant to allow you to have fun. GG stated that this is meant to be about 3 times as powerful as the normal Atlas itself is, so we are going to get some hilarious amount of loot during this event. Now, obviously, there's a few problems with this system. First off, being that you're going to have to pick up every single idol that you come across, and if you are looking to sell them, you have to dump them into a tab and hope that people buy them, because it's going to be really hard to price all of them. And if a strategy does get popular and you want to buy the idols to be able to do this, as these will be tradable, it'll be kind of bad if you don't immediately hop onto strategy, because the idols for strategy might go from a div or 2 each to 20, 30, 100 div overnight. Now, GG did say that you will have a 50% chance to drop an idol from every map boss that you kill, and they're going to be a part of the core drop table, meaning that every single monster in the game has a chance of dropping them, and they will be scaling with your juicing, meaning once you get to endgame, these are going to be dropping like candy, so hopefully it's not too bad to get an idol that has 2 or 3 modifiers on it that you like. There's going to be endless customizability with this, and I'm really looking forward to it because it should be pretty fun to try out a completely new endgame system, given that not much has really changed in PoE 1 for the past year and a half to two or so outside of T17 maps. Now, the other super exciting portion about this is going to be all of the new Ascendancies that they're going to be adding. Every single Ascendancy in PoE 1 is going to be completely replaced with some new take that GG have come up with. These are either going to be old ideas that never got implemented anywhere or were too overpowered for them to actually add into the game. Basically, every single one of these is meant to be broken, and what I really like about this is it completely changes the core of the game, completely wiping out the old meta and making space for a completely new meta for this event that we never really have had before. I want to go over the Ascendancies that we know about so far, as these are honestly downright exciting and completely meta warping on their own. First, we have the Architect of Chaos. This Ascendancy is going to be completely focused around Vol skills. Now, the most interesting part here is going to be on the left, the Forbidden Secrets and Fervor of Corruption, with Forbidden Secrets giving you Shepherd of Souls, allowing you to have a 80% reduction in your Vol soul cost. And you have to keep in mind that this is being played on Settlers, so eventually you could get a wand with Shepherd of Souls on it, giving you that effect for free and giving you an Ascendancy point back. But to begin with, if you pick this up on your first lab, you can then immediately start playing something like Vol Cold Snap or Vol Arc as your main skill, and it's only going to get better from there because then you can get Fervor of Corruption, which reduces the required souls per use by another 50%, giving you a total of 90% reduction in your costs. Now, the downside is that the skill effect duration is going to increase, meaning the lockout period is going to be a little bit longer. But for something like Vol Arc and Vol Cold Snap, you can basically spam them as much as you want to without that much trouble, given that you're most likely going to have to wait until you get to a new pack of monsters. Anyways, given those two skills are going to clear every screen instantaneously. The other really cool thing about this is that it is a insane ascendancy if you want to play a life stacker. Glimpse of Chaos gives you an additional 80% maximum life if every single one of your items is corrupted, meaning that any sort of life stacking base build is going to hit hilarious life values that were never attainable before. This on its own is going to be really, really strong, and I can see life stackers potentially hitting 50, 60,000 life now. And honestly, it's something I kind of want to play myself, as I've been dabbling into life stackers the past season or two, and they're a really interesting playstyle where, well, you simply just stack as much life as you possibly can. Dissolution is also very, very strong, as this is simply just Dissolution of Flesh, but better. Instead of the reservation taking 2 seconds to wipe away, it only takes 1 second, meaning by itself, this should be an amazing defensive layer, allowing you to, well, kind of have most of your defenses completely taken care of for you through this. The downside is that you do not get the 30% max life of Dissolution of Flesh, but I don't see why you can't just put on Dissolution of Flesh as well and have Dissolution override the Jewel, making the reservation only last 1 second while benefiting from the increased life from it. Overall, Architect of Chaos is looking really fun to play with, and I definitely can see how people would enjoy farming legions with either Vol Cold Snap or Vol Arc while playing this. Next, we have the Gambler. Now, I'm not personally too big of a fan of the Gambler because it's a little bit too generic for me, but honestly, the generic nature of this is going to be one of its benefits, given that you can kind of play whatever build you want on this and have a really good time with it. One thing you have to keep in mind about these Ascendancies is that you can change them as much as you want to, unlike in PoE 1, meaning that if the other two duelist Ascendancies look very strong and have interesting build archetypes available on them, but aren't things that you can realistically do without having a bunch of money and a bunch of gear beforehand, you could play something like a Gambler, use this as a way to start off and level your character, and then eventually transition into the other two Ascendancies to play whatever build you want to play. The Gambler just, well, has a lot of generic RNG. The top left is honestly really, really strong. Growing Accumulator maps out to a 35% damage increase, and Specular Parlay is, well, a very large amount of additional crit chance for free, given that with Lucky, she'll need to get to about 60 to 70% crit chance to be able to be crit capped. But then we also have Reverse Odds, which gives you a 50% chance for enemy monster res to be inverted, which will stack with the inverted mastery, meaning you have a 75% chance to basically completely delete any sort of pinnacle content with every hit that you do. Grow Accumulator plus Reverse Odds together will give you a pretty strong setup on its own. It should make it really easy for you to play something like Lightning Strike or whatever other elemental skill you're interested in. Overly Confident isn't too bad if you want to play low life, which might be a really strong defensive layer for this if you get yourself a Progenesis in the late game and run it with Pet Blood and just play a low life setup like that. Moving on next, we have the Harbinger. Personally, this is the Ascendancy I'm least excited about, as it's kind of really bad. The left side is just horrible, and there basically isn't anything redeemable about it on that side. There are better mana Ascendancies, and the channeling stuff and the reservation for Temp Change is just kind of useless, unfortunately. But the right side is pretty exciting, allowing you to play Cast on Crit substantially easier. The 40% CDR gives you the CDR that Awaken Cast on Crit would give you normally, meaning you can play Cast on Crit setups with the second breakpoints without you needing Awaken Cast on Crit, making it substantially stronger in the early game, with Harbinger Time giving you basically Tailwind at all times around you, and with Harbinger Focus making you immune to curses, stuns, ailments, and giving you 20% DR. Those 4 points should honestly give you a pretty strong setup, and you can have a pretty good time playing Castle Grid on this, although it might be a little bit boring and a little bit generic. Finally, from all the Ascendancies they've showed us, we have the Servant of Arakaali. This Ascendancy, in my opinion, is downright broken. If you aren't sure what Ascendancy to pick, and you're someone that's somewhat new to the game, this Ascendancy is going to be for you. Summon Raging Spirit is already a very strong starting build that you can play and, well, have an extremely easy time with the upgrade for the build being swapping over to poison and playing that in the mid game once you get yourself a bunch of poison jewels. Well, Skin Crawlers gives you a 50% chance for minions to poison, which you can get in Act 3, and then you can combine that with a chance to poison supports, giving your Summon Raging Spirits a 90% chance to poison off the bat in Act 3, making the rest of your leveling experience a complete joke. In your second lab, you can pick up Malevolent Strands to get level 15 Envy, which gives you an ungodly amount of added chaos damage. And then from there, well, your Poison SRS just completely destroyed the game, and honestly, that is most likely going to be the single best league search that's ever existed in Path of Exile in a very long time. The rest of the Ascendancy itself is also very interesting. Level 20 raid spiders is pretty cool, although I am worried about this, given that you really need melee splash on spiders to make it feel good, and this will not be something that's linkable, meaning you can't put melee splash on them, so their clear is not going to be the greatest. And I can 100% expect Gazi or some other minion enjoyers to make some broken-ass minion builds with Neurotoxin, given that you can make your specters and all of your minions have 100% crit chance like it's nothing. The bottom left section of this is also pretty interesting, with Free Aspect of Spider being 25% more damage, and with Silk Dancer giving you another 15% more damage on top of that, meaning everything on screen is slowed by 30%, and you do around 40% more damage to them while also taking 50% reduced damage from everything. It's a really strong combination that can also benefit your minions, meaning overall just Thread Spinner, Silk Dancer, Skin Crawlers, Malevolent Strands together will make for a very strong generic poison minion setup. Overall, the Ascendancies they've shown us so far are just strong and are honestly looking really fun to build around and make some interesting builds. I'm sure that we will most likely see some really busted Ascendancies from GG over the next few days as they start teasing more, and I'm excited to cover them as they get announced and discuss them a little bit in terms of what kind of builds you're going to be able to put together on them. What I want to do before the event starts is probably do a video that goes over all the very likely good starting builds they can play on a bunch of different Ascendancies to give people a bunch of ideas for what to do. And it should be fun to Theorycraft and discuss this over the next week and a half while we wait for the event to start. I'm going to be doing quite a lot of Theorycrafting and discussion on this on stream, so if you want to come and watch all that live, you're more than welcome to come by my Twitch and come and hang out with other kitties and be a part of our community. Or if you want to discuss this any further, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to talk through any of this further with you at any time. I am personally unbelievably excited for this, and this genuinely is the most excited I've ever been for anything PoE related in honestly years at this point, and I can't wait to play through this myself and have a lot of fun and just test out a bunch of different broken builds. With all that said, kitties, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.